I view the Decade of African Descent as an initiative by the United Nations to really highlight the people of African descent throughout the globe, looking at our history, our current realities, our accomplishments, and really advocate for the fulfillment of our full human rights.
It's a decade that was created with an understanding that people of African descent, members of the African diaspora, have been marginalized and victimized, starting with systems built through colonialism and the transatlantic trade in enslaved Africans, and understanding that there was a need for the amplification of experiences, but also bettering and changing those experiences.
The decade was promulgated and it ran from 2015 to 2024. It was a decade for people of African descent that focused on three pillars: recognition, development, and justice.
This still evokes a lot of emotion. It's not just a tragedy, it's definitely flagrant human rights violations that we're still contending with today.
A decade was not enough. For 400 years of everything that we had to endure, for all that we continue to endure as it relates to systemic racism, the fact that we're the most impoverished and marginalized group of people in the globe.
At the end of the decade, while a lot had been accomplished, there was so much more to do. And part of the reason for that is we did not, as a human race, invest sufficiently in the decade.
The first case of slave trafficking that we have on record was in 1441 when Portugal abducted African people, and slavery wasn't abolished in Brazil until 1888. That's over 400 years. We would essentially need 400 years of focusing on people of African descent if we want to get anything close to an equal level playing field. So for me, it makes sense to renew the decade, and hopefully this will lead to a century of looking at people of African descent.